What's going on, guys? Welcome back to an episode of the Beginner's Guide. This time, which is I'm going to class it as the second in the series of the Gen 7 Mons. But this time we'll be taking Buzzwole, another Ultra Beast. So the other day, so on Monday we took Nihilego, the Poison Rock type, and I really love it. So I definitely suggest going to check that out. I definitely suggest checking out all of these Ultra Beasts and their profiles, because some of them are amazing. Some I'm not really fond of, but again, I'll try and put them in a I won't try and be biased towards whether I like them or hate them. You may be able to tell it in the tone of my voice sometimes, but yeah. Anyway, we'll jump into it first. I mean, Buzzwole has an amazing design. I really like the idea of Buzzwole. I also quite like its typing in bug fighting, although it is weak to a number of common things, but we'll get into that. But yeah, it kind of looks like, I'm trying to figure out what it looks like. I'm going to go with the Red Hulk, I guess. The nose across his face is a little bit weird. I'm not going to lie to you guys. Somewhat, it doesn't strike me as a bug type. The design, it's more, it reminds me, I guess, of Rock Fire, the design. But I mean, the idea and the drawing is just brilliant. Although it doesn't really complement the bug style, in my opinion. I guess. But yeah, jumping onto the stats. It's obviously it's more on the physical side than on the special side, which is different to Nihilego. Some tremendous physical stats, as well as HP. So I think they're all base 107, all the Ultra Beasts, in terms of HP. But 139 across the board on the physical side. This is what gets me down about Gen 7 is the speed tiers. I know the ability Beast Boost can boost that, but I mean base 79 is weak. You need to be at least base 100 on the competitive side to perhaps be in with a chance of getting on someone's team offensively. It is mental. Yeah, you can make this thing viable. I completely agree that this thing, it can become broken with the right set, which I think I may have. Mainly because I've seen it used, and I really like the idea of it. It was seriously becoming hard to take down. In the end, he ended up sweeping from like the fifth move in the game. So that was nice to see. In terms of weaknesses, it's 4 times weak to flying, which isn't brilliant. But I mean, with the buff of Talonflame and also not very many new flying types coming through, I don't class that as anything kind of crazy. I mean, Staraptor's probably one of the best birds now in the game, and there can only be one of them on a team. So if you didn't want to bring this against Staraptor, I wouldn't blame you. Yet there is a move which can actually take on flying types. There's a couple of moves which can help you beat flying types with this Pokemon, so we'll jump into that. In terms of 2 times weaknesses, it's weak to fire, naturally with the bug typing. It's weak to psychic, with the fighting typing. And it's also weak to fairy with the fighting typing as well. But as we'll get into, it can beat 3 out of 4 of those types, with the coverage it has. It struggles a lot with fire types, so especially if I wouldn't bring this thing if your opponent has an Arcanine. I just wouldn't bring this thing if you have an Intimidate user, or if you're going up against an Intimidate user, unless you wanted to bring an Adrenaline Orb and boost the speed. That could be actually a really viable set, and you'll notice in the next slide I haven't put that in, but I'm actually thinking Adrenaline Orb, Buzzwole could be a thing. Especially with Lando so common on the tiers, but competitively, that could be an option if you're going up against an Intimidate user. A lot of people draft them both together, perhaps even with the Gyarados. Yeah, Gyarados might be a good check actually. It's only got Bounce, which is a 2-turn move, but it could use, I can't remember, I don't know what the move's called, I don't know what the item is that makes it a 1-turn move. I like the resist. So in terms of neutral, I mean normal, water, electric, ice, poison, rock, ghost, dragon, steel. So another neutral to dragon, which is nice. So it's nice not having a team full of dragon weaknesses. It's kind of it's neutralising that a little bit. I mean, it kind of goes well with Nihilego as well. So, I mean, they're both weak to Psychic, but Nihilego resists Fire, Flying, and Fairy. And Psychic, I mean, it's not that common. You'll get destroyed with Gardevoir, don't get me wrong, unless you want to run an Assault Vest Nihilego. Tips. But yeah, anyway, on to resistances. It resists Grass, obviously. Resists Fighting, resists Ground, Bug, and Dark. So, I mean, 4 out of those, really. No, 3. Fighting, Ground, and Dark, 3 predominant typings. It's brilliant that it resists those. It's not. I quite like this Pokemon. Initial thoughts were I'm not really fond of it because of the speed, and really, just because it didn't really complement the typings in terms of design. But it's growing on me. It really is growing on me, and I've seen it used effectively. So really, I should enjoy this Pokemon. Really, I should give it a go. Moving on to the Movepool and the typical sets. Again, like the other Ultra Beast, it's got or Nihilego anyway. It's got good moves. A few of the bug type moves. They're really interesting me. So Leech Life. Leech Life's good on more of a Stall Breaker sec. You're gonna get health back. So I don't know what the nerf was, but Leech Life has had it's like Giga Drain pretty much. Except for bug types. You get Lunge. Lunge is actually really interesting because Lunge, every time this move hits, it lowers the attack of the Pokemon by 1. So that could be really effective, especially if you're using Beast Boost to to get your speed up. You could always, although you're probably more going to get attacked on the special side, so Fell Stinger's not really going to be a common move. But it's still there. Not Fell Stinger, Lunge will still be there as an option, and Fell Stinger as well. Fell Stinger actually struck me as an interesting. I think it's had a nerf since Gen 6 when it came out. It's now gone from I think 2 to 3. It boosts your attack by, so it's almost like a Tail Glow. But if you knock your Pokemon down far enough, or if you're at +4 or something in attack, I don't know, you can use this to get to +6. I just thought it was a really interesting move, and if you want to use some what we call heat sets in competitive, then give it a go. Perhaps bulk up Fell Stinger. I'd love to see that, guys. Come on, someone link me to a video that you've done doing that, because that would be insane. And on the fighting side, Superpower is its most common one. Yeah, Power Up Punch is another option, and Vital Throw. So Power Up Punch, Vital Throw, perhaps could be an option if they've got a low speed base amongst their team. And then it gets a lot of answers for its checks, like I said, with the Psychic type, the Flying type, and can't remember what the other one was. Fairy type. So you got Stone Edge for your Flying types. You also got Thunder Punch. You got Poison Jab as well for your Fairy types, and you've obviously got the Bug type moves for the Psychic type. So that's brilliant. And also just some kind of some other moves. You got Roost and Bulk Up, which are so it gets a good amount of longevity in it, which is really, really nice in any kind of Pokemon, really, offensive or defensive. I mean, sets. The only, apart from that one that I just told you about, in terms of the Adrenaline Orb, I don't know if you class that as viable or more of a heat set. So I'm just going to keep it out. The one that struck me most when I saw someone actually using it, it does make sense, was the Bulk Up set. So Leech Life and another stab move, I'd probably suggest Stone Edge. So you can get rid of fire types. So it's obviously a check for fire types as well. It can beat all 4 of its. I'm so stupid sometimes. It can beat all 4 of its weaknesses, which is brilliant. So I'm liking this Pokemon more now. So Leech Life, Stone Edge, and then Sub Bulk Up, which makes it really, really hard to beat if you're bulking up. It really, really does become hard to beat. So honestly, give it a go. Beast Boost, I'll probably say on the jolly side. And yeah, let me know how you get on with that, because I really think it's going to be an effective set competitively. And then the item, ability, nature, and EVs are all there, but they're all pretty self-explanatory against what I've just said. Let me just check. Oh, we haven't been going for that long. And then we've got the table at the end. The for and against of drafting Buzzwole. Since kind of talking to you guys about it, I'll be honest, I haven't used this Pokemon as of yet. I've seen it used, so I feel like I'm in a good position to talk about it. And also, I class myself as I've been through a lot of seasons of competitive Pokemon, so I know somewhat what I'm talking about. I mean, I'm not the best competitive player out there by no means, but I mean, I still kind of somewhat know what makes a good Pokemon competitively. So yeah, I mean, on the 4 side, the ability can make up for the lack of speed, so the Beast Boost for the 79 rubbish speed. It's a good recovery for the Stall Breaker set, so your Leech Life, you can run Leech Life Roost if you're really that feisty kind of guy. But yeah, Bulk Up as well, Bulk Up and Recovery just work so well together, and Sub as well. Sub Leech Life just makes all the sense in the world. And then has answers, not for 3 out of 4, but all of its weaknesses now. With Stone Edge being fire and flying type, so amazing. And then it's got good resistances as well. So I mean, jumping back to its resistances, grass, fighting, ground, bug, and dark. All very common types in this in the competitive side, so the fact that it resists those, you can even use it defensively if you really have to go there. Yeah, it's good. It's a good idea to kind of, if you're building a team, to cover somewhat every resistancy, every type. I can't talk. To have a team that resists all types, and try and make it so dark is resisted as well as flying and all that kind of stuff. There's not just like a massive fire weakness on your team, because people will exploit it. They really will. And it takes experience to spot these things in your team. But yeah, I'm sure if you're kind of getting onto the scene, you'll get to know that. And on the against side, not really against, but it is a low speed tier, so if it hits a field, you have to kill something first. And if you're kind of wall breaking with this thing, so it can become it can be a nuisance to deal with, I guess, on that side. One thing I actually forgot to put in was it's not really, doesn't make hidden powers viable on the physical side. And I mean, bug and fighting are resisted by a lot of things, so you kind of somewhat want hidden powers, but like I said, it can again, trying to think of what to say, but yeah, I think you get where I'm coming at. But that's what you get with the physical Pokemon at the end of the day. You need a physical wall breaker, you need a special wall breaker. Yeah, so sometimes hidden powers aren't going to be viable, so I'm not going to put it in against. And then the only real other one I could think of was it was set up bait for fairy types. Poison Jab, I mean, it's alright, but it won't be stab, although it's coming from a base, 139? 139 attack mon, so it might not be set up bait as such. I haven't run the calcs, but I can see it being set up bait for Clef, because obviously Clef hits on the special side, so it's going to hurt it. You may want to switch out. By then you're +1/+1 on Calm Minds for Clef, and it's then becomes really hard to take down. So that's the only other kind of weakness I can see with this Pokemon. But again, I've come to like it doing this about him. That's why I like doing these. It gives me a chance to learn about them, and it also gives obviously you guys a chance to learn about them. And I mean, some leagues aren't drafting till January, February time, so I guess this is somewhat timely. Some have started already, i.e. my league. We wasn't whipping out of guessing what tiers each and every Pokemon should go in, although the main guy doing that was Ryan, so massive thanks to him for doing the tiers ever since like leaks were sent from Coro, and it was amazing work, so massive thanks for that. And yeah, I mean, I hope you all enjoyed the episode, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye bye.